2nd, 1961, Warsaw, Poland, 4:15 a.m. He's Libra, Libra rising, and an Aries moon. So, okay. If you look at the chart, you can see the moon is the bucket, handle of the bucket. You see the moon is coming up almost to the full moon, so it's in the waxing gibbous moon phase. So, we're just going to start here. Pull this over here. Chart to look at. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, yeah, we have the bucket pattern, which is, it's like the bowl, but it has a handle. So there's all the energy together on one side, and it's all pushing out and pushing all over to his moon in Aries in the 6th house. Need to be helpful, need to be service, need to do things, need to be active, has that impulsive Aries quality. And the waxing gibbous phase is building up to the greatest brightness, is building up from the moon phase just up to the building up to the full moon. And there's still the opposite, like the opposite signs. It's building up. There's still a growing contrast and a stronger sense of independence. The Aries moon, who needs to be more independent, there's a strong instinct to be more independent, do one's own thing. Don't tell me what to do. I'm doing this. Okay, so that's that moon rising. It's in the 6th house, conjunct the descendant. Okay, we'll get to the aspects of that later. When we look at the Sun, Moon, Ascendant, it's Libra, Aries, Libra. It's all cardinal. So it's a driving dynamic person, wants to make things happen, wants to do things. It's fire and air, or air and fire. When we're looking at the Sun, says the need to communicate and to act on his ideas. Those two things are there. You don't see the water or the earth here. So it's all masculine, what we're seeing, not that feminine side. And yeah, so that's basically the outstanding things. You think of how you're relating to the person. It's either going to be through what you're doing or how you're communicating, how you're expressing yourself. That's how you're relating to the person. Libras like to be listened to, like to be heard. Okay, now I am, two I am, 1 I feel, 1 I will, 1 I analyze, 5 I balance, 2 I desire, 2 I use. Yeah, I think I listen would be probably just as good a word. I use it's functional, and listen is another quality that comes up with the Saturn rulership. So I use, I desire, I am, I use, and I desire, and I balance what I am and what I desire and what I have to use. The idea of the harmony and the balance is strong there. When we look at the daylight increasing, darkness, 10 darkness increasing, 4 daylight increasing. So this shows a tendency to have to want to belong, to be part of a team, to be part of a group. There's a need to feel we're together. It's a Libra. The share, need to be involved. The daylight greater 5, darkness greater 5. So again, the social element, the responsibility element, the being responsible element, and taking on commitments element is the strong issue. More than doing his independent thing. His attitude is more towards we, us, than I, me. That's the Libra. The I, me is kind of like the Aries, so they're both there. 10 cardinal, 3 fixed, 1 mutable. So this is a chart on the go. A person must be dynamic, making these happen. Somebody will try this, do this, do this, do this. I'm gonna sit still. Not that fixed, but that's the second quality. Hardly mutable, hardly adaptable. So, what can I say? I've known him over a lot of years, and we see him even across 10 years. He still looks the same. He's consistent. But there's a certain fixed element, but the driving element, he comes across a very mild-mannered person. I didn't see the drive. Being the teacher, I didn't see the drive. And I did not see it, but it's something that, oh, okay, you see, and there's a need to be that, and that's him. So I was in one pocket of reality. So, okay, he's a student that studied from me years ago and has come back to top things up, going through the progressions and the case studies to rebuild the skills, or just to, it's good to do. And winter, spring, summer, fall, 2, 2, 3, 7, autumn. So again, the fall, Libra, the fall, that's the high season, the most active season. Fire, water, air, and earth. By the signs by the sun, moon, ascendant, it's just fire and air. But when we look at them all, everything together, it's 3, 5, 5, 3. So air's communication is still the strongest, but he has all the other elements there as well. 8 masculine, 6 feminine, fairly even balanced. Need to be active. The sun rules one planet. That's the Uranus and Leo. The moon rules one planet. That's the midheaven, who's midheaven. The Mercury rules one. Here is the Pluto and Virgo. Venus rules 5, and Mars rules 4 points. So Mars is its own rulership sign. Neptune's conjunct it, and the moon is there too. So there's 4 points. And Venus rules 5, which is the sun, the Mercury, the Venus, and the ascendant. There's nothing in Taurus. So his Venus and Mars are the strongest. I appreciate, what do I got to do? If his action, his energy gets challenged, it affects 4 points in his chart. If his values get challenged, it affects 5 points in his chart. Jupiter 0, 2 Saturn. So the Venus and Mars are the strong suit here. Now, there you go. In the houses, it's different. 3 identity, 2 values, 2 security, 2 friendship, 1 conscious. So it's identity, values, security, friendships, conscience. So he knows who he is. He's not going to let himself get in debt. He's going to have his values. He has his need for security, his home of security, and his friendships. So, and his conscience. So those are his outstanding elements by houses. Rising 8, setting 4. So with the signs, it was, just go back a second. The signs, he had 4 daylight increasing, 10 darkness increasing. So daylight increasing was the weaker. Here, the rising, having to do things and instigating things is strong. So there's his attitude is saying, I need to belong, I need to belong. His personal, let me do this for you, I'll do this for you, I'll do this. So it's rising, he's instigating, he's acting on his ideas, he's instigating. Then 3 above and 9 below, the accents on his lifestyle more than his status. So wants to belong, wants security, wants certain resources, has a certain style of being the Libra, and confidence about his ideas. But his subjective life, his personal life is more important than his status. So this is a bit contradictory, because in the signs, it's all about belonging and being involved. It's not exactly contradictory, but the implication is team, group oriented. But in a personal life, he's living his own life, 9 below the horizon, and projecting what he needs to do, but is not as strong. There's only Moon, Jupiter, Saturn on the setting house is not the strongest setting, reacting side to others. So even though he needs to belong, he'll belong on his ideas and his idealism and project that out. 5 angular, 4 succeeding, 3 cadent, same kind of angular strongest than succeeding than cadent, but 5 angular only. There's 10 cardinal and 4 succeeding, so a little more fixity here. And the cadent has a bit more perceptiveness or adaptableness around this, but again, it's still the angular is the outstanding quality. What's he doing? What are you doing? I got to do things. Intuition 5, thinking quadrant 3, sensation 0, feeling 4. So the 5, the intuition, that's the third, first, second, third, second, first houses. That's the subjective projection. That's the intuitive side. 5 points. That's the sun, the planets. That's his main focus. And then the 4 points feeling is the planets. He takes in things very personally. He responds to others. He responds to others strongly. That's the setting side. And he puts out strong. So he's going to take personal person that he's going to act on him. And he has 3 points thinking, so he's going to put his energy out. He's going to think about his effect in the world. He's going to try and make an effect, make an impression to others. But zero sensation. It's an interesting thing, and like the difference between sensation and feeling is the minute you take something personally or take it in and you respond personally to something, that's the feeling quadrant. But social interactions without feelings, he's not really good at equal social, not his strong suit, responding to others just on demand, just in the interaction of things. No, he'll respond deeply, and then to every response he has, he's going to take an action. He's going to act on it. He's going to feel it strongly. That moon and Aries right on the descendant. Then it's go in, and he's going to say, "What do I have to do? That's happening. What I got to do." Then he's going to get his ideas and project things out and try and push to make it happen. So he is responsive personally, but not so much socially. Okay, he has more things to say, but whether he gets recognition that much, he'll get. He's the son of the first house. He's going to do something. He's going to be noticed. People are going to know him. But when I think about him, he's a mild-mannered person. For my meeting him in classes, around the classes, and generally he's been a fairly mild-mannered, interesting, smart, mild-mannered person. I never saw the Aries moon so much. We'll come to this in a minute. 3 self fire, 2 relations air, 4 concerns earth, 3 rewards water. So here, the concerns, the practical, the earth is strong. So this is the 6th and the 2nd houses. So he does have practical concerns about resources and things to maintain his lifestyle. Yeah, that's okay. So there's some just the void in the sensation, that the respondent side is an interesting factor here. It stands out, and his strong emphasis by signs in that darkness is greater, darkness is increasing, and darkness is greater are both accentuated. Darkness increasing, darkness greater. Yeah, only his moon and his midheaven are in the, oh no, he's got the daylight increase and daylight is greater. Yeah, it's 4. So, okay, so we got through that. I just was looking at it. So, okay, now we want to go over the planets. So we'll just start with the moon because I think it's very key here, the handle of the bucket. And it's the opposite of his Libra. So he has this moon, it's in Aries, it's impulsive. The moon, in one way, it's the mother in your life, and another way, it's what you need. So he needs to act, he needs to prove he can do things, but he tends to attract the Aries type of partner, the strong or assertive partner. And then he responds to the strong and assertive partner. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, we'll do this. So someone comes in, they could easily get that. So the need to act, it's opposed to Venus. So and his Venus is in the 12th house. So this is 6th house. This is concerned with health, healing. It's a healer's chart. He has the healing, but you get the sense maybe it's more Tai Chi type healing or a physical type healing or keeping active. But there's a need to be of service, to be helpful, to be working, to be helpful. So that's a useful quality for astrology. You need to do things to make a difference, to help people to see what's going on, to know what's happening. The Libra is the one who wants to see where things are going. The Aries is going to want to act on impulse, want to go on it. So there's an impatient side, but it opposes his Venus. This is his main opposition. The only opposition, his main opposition in his chart. And that Venus opposition is what I need versus what I want. Well, I'd like to do this, or I appreciate this. So his Venus is in his 12th house. It's tied up in his 12th house. There's a tendency to not feel appreciated.